They dismount the snowmobile and Uppino grabs his book bag. Miklu says, I got some news. You okay? It's Betty. Might be having a baby. What are you gonna do? Man, we could get a place together. Think on how dope that would be. You, me, Betty, and my son. Put in a sound studio or something. God, it gives me chills just thinking on it. My film is called On the Ice, and it's a story of two Inuit teenagers in Barrow, Alaska, who try to get away with murder.
What the hell are you doing? You gotta help me
For me, the best filmmakers are the ones who really understand what goes on in an editing room. And of course, Altman, if I started with Altman, I mean, that was kind of like, he would say, well, put it together and I'll come and see it. I'd call him, he'd come in, and he'd say, oh, get that line out, and that's a stupid line, I don't like that line. But Bob, it's a good line, I don't care, get rid of it. You know, I mean, there was this very, very flexible, fluid sense that what you had shot or what was on the page just didn't matter anymore. Directors that understand that, that's the most fun for me, and I feel like that gives you the best film.
Tell me if you think we're getting too cutty on any of this, though. I'm gonna
It wasn't my fault.
What the hell happened?
He was trying to kill me, you saw it.
All I saw was him beating on you.
Well, he was crazy. Shit. Are you sure he's dead?
You have a scene.
Yeah.
It's a pretty big one.
It's challenging. It's a definitely challenging cut, yeah.
This is probably the biggest scene of the movie.
Right.
So, of course it's challenging.
Yeah. What do you think of like performances?
I think that they are believable most of the time.
Yeah.
But we'll see when you are trying to create those underlying emotions, things, thoughts,
Yeah.
If they are there, because that's what's missing for me. And maybe that's what you are looking for.
Yeah. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay. Okay.
Maintaining fresh eyes is always challenging when you're editing, and you have to really work at it, and you try to really walk in and look at this as if you've never seen it before. I often will be very literal-minded and sort of say that to myself. I mean, it's something that I think you often get better at as you do it more.
What happens if you go in on that tight shot? Trace is an asshole, right? And just stay on up now for a while, and see what happens in the scene when he starts talking about this other shit.
This is really about just trying to penetrate the reality of the material that they've written and try to help them in any way possible make it as honest and as effective as they can.
It's just like putting us into the sort of gymnastics we have to jump through to make.
It's always going to be the case, though.
Yeah,
When you get the best performances you can out of everybody you work with when you shoot this, you're still going to be cutting stuff. There's still going to be some performances you're not pleased with. There's still going to be aspects of the film that, are different than what you thought they were. And so it's a good experience to just to make these kind of decisions. So
and also to remember, it's his story.
Yeah.
My goal for all of them is to help them really be secure about their own voice. I mean, what often happens up here is they get a great deal of really good advice, but it's our advice. So what I keep trying to get them back to is, what is your instinct? What is your first instinct about this particular story that you're telling today?
One of the main things that the advisors were pushing me to do after taking a look at the rough cut of it yesterday was really to strip down dialogue. I ended up trying to communicate a lot more of what was happening in the scene through subtext rather than using the text that was written. And so once we shifted it to that direction, then it really came alive a lot more.
They always ask us what the genesis of what the story is and what's the truth of the story, and we find our answer keeps changing and in ways getting smaller and smaller and more and simpler.